Hi, this is SOSF. Alright, check this out. We're going deep on this one today. Pull up a chair, maybe spark something up if that's your deal, because we're diving into a rabbit hole that nerds have been fighting over in the back of comic book shops since the beginning of time. Who is the strongest superhero? And I know what you're thinking. It's Superman, right? Or the Hulk? It's always about who can punch a planet in half. But that's kid stuff. That's like asking who the best fighter is and only talking about who has the heaviest right hand. We all know it's more complicated than that. There's technique, there's ground game, there's fight IQ. It's the same thing here, but on a level that'll melt your brain. So I got this crazy deep dive analysis, this report, that breaks it all down. And it argues that the real power isn't about lifting mountains. That's level 1. The real power is about who can mess with reality itself. Who can just decide the rules don't apply to them. And then, even beyond that, and this is where it gets really weird, folks, who understands that they're living inside a story and can reach out and grab the pen from the writer, it's a completely different ballgame. First, we gotta set some ground rules. There are these beings in both the big comic universes, Marvel and DC, who are basically God. For Marvel, they call him the one above all. For DC, it's a dude called the Presence. These guys aren't superheroes. They're not in the fight. They're the guys who built the whole damn arena, who wrote the laws of physics for their universes. They're the artists, the creators. They're unplayable characters. You can't put Dana White in the octagon against the heavyweight champ. It's not the same thing. So, they're out. We're talking about the fighters, the guys in the ring. So, below God, you've got these insane cosmic hierarchies. It's like a corporate ladder of who can kick whose ass. In Marvel, you got guys like the Silver Surfer, who can cruise around space and blow up stars. That's like middle management. Above them, you got the Skyfathers, dudes like Odin, Thor's dad, who can create entire galaxies. That's your executive level. Then you get to the real weirdos, the Celestials, these giant space robots who are basically cosmic gardeners planting life on planets. And then, at the top, you have beings that are not even people. They are ideas walking around. You've got eternity, which is the whole universe in a cape. You have death. You have infinity. They're the concepts that make everything work. And watching over all of them is this three-headed giant called the Living Tribunal, who's the ultimate judge, jury, and executioner for the entire multiverse. His only boss is the one above all. Insane, right? DC is just as nuts, maybe even more so because their whole history is a mess of reboots and rewrites. You got the new gods, like Darkseid, who are fighting on a whole different plane of existence. You have the Monitors, who are these cosmic beings whose only job is to watch all the different universes to make sure they don't break. You've got beings that are literally the living embodiment of an emotion, like Parallax for fear, which is what powers the Green Lantern rings. And then there's this one dude we gotta talk about, the Spectre. This guy is literally the wrath of God. He's the spirit of vengeance given a body. Just wild. But here's the most important thing to understand, the thing that changes the whole game. It's a concept called power creep. Think about it. If you're writing a big summer blockbuster comic, you need a new villain who's a credible threat. So the new bad guy has to be way more powerful than the last one. The guy who could destroy a universe last year? Now he's getting punked by the new guy who eats multiverses for breakfast. The power levels are always shifting. It's a moving target. So, a character whose power is defined as I can blow up a galaxy is always at risk of being made obsolete. Their strength is a number, and that number can always be beaten by a bigger number. But what if a character's power isn't a number? What if their power is to always be the solution? What if their whole purpose is to be whatever the story needs them to be to win? That's a different kind of power. That's a power that's immune to power creep. And that's the secret sauce we're looking for. So let's get into the main event. Let's look at the top contenders for the title. First up, from DC, is that guy I mentioned, the Spectre. This dude is no joke. His power comes directly from the Presence, from God. His resume is biblical, literally. The report says he was the one who destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, part of the Red Sea. He's an abstract entity, a divine force. He once went on a rampage and was so powerful he depowered a fifth-dimensional imp, one of those cartoonish reality warpers who can do anything. But here's his weakness, and it's a big one. The power isn't his. He's on a leash. He's usually bonded to a human soul, a guy named Jim Corrigan, to keep him in check. He's a weapon, but someone else is aiming him. He's got the power of God, but he's not God. He's an employee. That's a critical distinction. Next up is a guy who really messes with your head, Dr. Manhattan. The big, blue, naked dude from Watchmen. This guy is a game changer. After a lab accident, he stopped being a man and became a quantum being. He doesn't experience time in a straight line like we do. For him, the past, present, and future are all happening at the same time. It's all one big mechanism that he can see and tinker with. He can take you apart at the subatomic level with a thought. Physical threats are a joke to him. He's so powerful that it was revealed he was the one who secretly rewrote the entire DC universe, creating their new 52 reality, just as an experiment. He was just curious what would happen if he pulled 10 years out of the timeline. Imagine being so powerful that you can use a universe as your personal petri dish. But what's his weakness? It's not a lack of power. It's a lack of giving a damn. He's become so detached, so far beyond human concerns, that he's mostly just a passive observer. He rarely does anything unless he's pushed. And more importantly, the report points out that he was ultimately defeated by something he couldn't understand: hope. He saw Superman's unwavering heroism, this fundamental narrative idea of good, and it broke his whole detached, cynical worldview. He realized that the hero's story was more powerful than his own quantum godhood. He saw the pattern and admitted it was better than his. That's a huge tell right there. Now, let's talk about the big blue Boy Scout, Superman. But we have to be specific. There's a version of him that gets talked about on internet forums all the time: Superman Prime 1 million. The Golden God. The story is that he chilled out inside the sun for 15,000 years and came out basically omnipotent. People claim he resurrected his wife, Lois Lane, recreated his home planet of Krypton, even created his own universe. The analysis I'm looking at just torches this idea. It's a complete myth. A case of fan lore getting repeated so many times people think it's true. When you actually read the comics, all that God tier stuff, it was his friends who did it. A fifth-dimensional imp helped him bring back Lois. A time-traveling robot rebuilt Krypton for him. He's insanely powerful, for sure. A sun-dipped Superman is no joke. But a universe-creating God? Nah. He's not even in the real conversation. He's disqualified. But there's another Superman. A different version. And we'll come back to him. He's the Dark Horse. Let's jump over to the Marvel side of the street. First on the list is a kid named Franklin Richards. He's the son of Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman of the Fantastic Four. He's a mutant, and his power is, get this, to rewrite reality, on a massive scale. As a little kid, he created an entire pocket universe in his bedroom to hide all the heroes in. Think about that. A toddler with the power to create new realities. As an adult, he got into a fight with these super powerful cosmic beings, the Celestials, and he just won. He resurrected Galactus, the dude who literally eats planets for lunch, and basically said, "You're my herald now. You work for me." And then he went and wiped the floor with these cosmic gods. His potential is basically limitless. But again, there's a catch. He's still human. His power is tied to his emotions, his confidence, his fears. He's a god who can be held back by his own self-doubt. He can manipulate the laws of physics, but he's still playing inside the sandbox. Then you've got the Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff. This is another reality warper, but her power comes from something called chaos magic. It's a primordial, wild force. At her peak, during a famous story called House of M, she suffered a complete mental breakdown after losing her children. And in her grief, she rewrote all of reality, the entire planet. She created a new world where everyone had their deepest desires fulfilled. And when that fell apart, she just whispered 3 little words: no more mutants. And with that, a wave of energy shot across the multiverse and depowered 98% of the mutant population. Gone. It didn't just affect the present, it erased future mutant births from all possible timelines. A single sentence that fundamentally rewrote the rules of existence for millions. But here's the thing, her greatest power is her greatest weakness. She can only do this stuff when she's emotionally shattered. It's not controlled. It's a psychic nuclear bomb going off because she's having a panic attack. It's a force of nature she's channeling, not a tool she's wielding. And that brings us to the heaviest hitter from the Marvel side, Jean Grey as the White Phoenix of the Crown. Okay, so this gets cosmic as hell. The Phoenix Force is a fundamental entity in the Marvel Universe. It's the embodiment of all life and all psionic energy that ever was or ever will be. It's the spark of creation itself. And in this ultimate form, the White Phoenix, Jean Grey, isn't just wielding it, she is it. She's in perfect sync with it. She operates from a place called the White Hot Room, which is described as the nexus of all realities, the engine room of the multiverse. From there, her feats are just insane. She held the entire universe in the palm of her hand. She can reach into the timeline and just prune branches she doesn't like, literally amputating entire streams of history. The report says that in this form, she is second in power only to the one above all himself. She is a being of pure creation and destruction on an omniversal scale. She's a serious contender for the belt. So, who wins the fight? You can't just put them in a cage and have them go at it. That's meaningless. When you can rewrite reality, a punch is irrelevant. The battlefield has to be conceptual. The winner isn't the one who knocks the other out. the winner is the one who can fundamentally erase the other's existence. Who can rewrite their opponent's story into one of defeat? The old comic book legend Stan Lee once said the winner of any fight is whoever the writer wants to win. So, the most powerful character has to be the one who can take control of the pen. Let's run the tournament. First up, you pit the Reality Warpers, Franklin Richards and Scarlet Witch, against the Divine Agent, the Spectre. Franklin and Wanda can do incredible things. They can create and reshape the rules of the game. But the Spectre isn't playing the game. He's the cosmic referee sent by the guy who owns the whole league. His power doesn't come from within the system. It's an enforcement action from outside the system. Their reality warping is them hacking the code. He is the admin with the power to just ban their accounts. In a battle of concepts, the will of the creator beats the manipulations of the created. The Spectre advances. Next round, the Spectre versus Dr. Manhattan. The Quantum Observer versus the Divine Wrath. Manhattan's greatest weapon is his ability to manipulate time and causality, but the Spectre exists outside of linear time. The report says he's immune to reality reboots and timeline changes. He remembers every previous version of the universe. So Manhattan's main weapon is useless. Plus, as we saw, Manhattan's godhood has a philosophical weakness. He can be swayed by the power of a good story. The Spectre embodies a much more absolute concept, divine judgment. The detached observer gets wiped out by absolute conviction. The Spectre takes another win. So now it's the finals of the preliminary bracket. The Spectre versus the White Phoenix. This is a monster of a fight. A clash of titans. On one side, you have the ultimate force of life, creation and rebirth from one multiverse. On the other, the ultimate force of judgment and vengeance from another. They are both operating at the absolute peak of their respective cosmic ladders, right below the ultimate creator gods. They are parallel forces. The Phoenix is the story of life itself. The Spectre is the story of cosmic law. How could one definitively erase the other? To destroy the Phoenix would be to unmake life in its multiverse. To destroy the Spectre, you'd have to overpower the god that gives him his mandate. The report concludes it's a conceptual stalemate. An unstoppable force meets an immovable object. They cancel each other out. Neither can win. They're both eliminated. So, who's left? Everyone's gone. All the reality warpers, the divine agents, the cosmic forces of life. Who could possibly be more powerful? This is where we go back to that dark horse, that other version of Superman. The one called the Cosmic Armor Superman, or the Thought Robot. And this, my friends, is where reality just completely folds in on itself. This thing. It's not even really a person. The report says it's a 4D Sentinel suit made of pure thought. It exists in a higher dimension, outside the DC multiverse, in a place called the Monitor Sphere. It was built by these cosmic beings for one single purpose, to be the ultimate plot device. It's a narrative weapon, designed to face the ultimate, story-ending threat and win. The villain it was built to fight was a being called Mandrake, a conceptual vampire that didn't drink blood. It fed on stories. It was eating the plot of the DC multiverse. How the hell do you fight something like that? You don't punch it. Here's the part that breaks your brain. Cosmic Armor Superman's power is not strength or speed. His power is reactive evolution and plot manipulation. He is literally as strong as he needs to be. His function is to adapt instantly to any threat and generate a narrative where he wins. He is the living embodiment of the hero's journey. He is the plot. And here's the kicker. He knows he's in a comic book. He is self-aware. The report says he can feel the vibrations of the pages being turned by the reader. He can hear you breathing as you read the story. He didn't beat the story eater by overpowering him. He beat him by having a better story. He won because he was the personification of heroism, and in a narrative battle, the ultimate hero story beats the ultimate villain story. That's his power. So, who is the most powerful superhero of all time? It's Cosmic Armor Superman. His victory isn't about muscle or energy blasts. It's a victory of purpose. Any other character, even the White Phoenix, is still a character in the story. They operate within the narrative. Cosmic Armor Superman is the narrative. He is a self-aware story whose ending is pre-written. The hero wins. He operates on a level above everyone else. You can't defeat the story that is specifically written to be unbeatable. It's a checkmate from the first move. In the end, this whole crazy thought experiment shows you something profound. In a fictional universe where the laws of physics are just suggestions and reality can be rewritten on a whim, the only real, ultimate power is control over the narrative itself. It's not about who's the strongest character in the story. It's about who is the story. It's a wild concept. It really makes you think, though. If you have a character who becomes aware that he's just a puppet in a story, but his superpower is to control the strings and guarantee he always wins, is he even a character at that point? Or does he just become a fundamental law of that fictional reality? Like the law of narrative gravity, where the hero is destined to always come out on top. What does that even mean for free will or stakes within that universe? It's a hell of a thing to chew on. See you next time.